truth is, Democrats continue to use this issue as a scare tactic because IVF is legal and accessible in all 50 states. And President Trump has made it perfectly clear that he'll continue to make sure that that's the case.
So you voted against a measure, though, that was offered up by Democrats on IVF in the Senate there, and they continue to point to that to say Republicans aren't supportive of protecting IVF. Why did you vote no?
So, Shannon, I'm so glad you brought this up. This is politics at its worst.
See, they're at it again, huh? This time, who did they send out? None other than creepy Senator Katie Britt. And what do I mean by that when I say they are at it again? Think about Donald Trump. Think about Donald Trump and all of his shenanigans as it pertains to the border and how he cares about immigration. But then he kills a bipartisan immigration bill that was negotiated by one of the most conservative people in Washington, D.C. So what do? They send Katie Britt to some safe space to say ridiculousness.
What are some of his policies that you like the most?
The border control and Mexico. That's a huge policy.
Do you think they should have passed the bill to build more of the wall?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Trump negotiated that they wouldn't pass it.
Passing in regards to the bill.
The bill to build more of the wall and to increase border security. Trump said, don't pass it. So they didn't pass it. That just happened.
Okay. Well, I have mixed views on that.
He wanted it to be a campaign issue. And so if they pass it and then the border is kind of more regulated, more sealed up, then they wouldn't be able to campaign on it.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Do you think that's a good reason not to pass a bill, though, so you can campaign on it?
No.
So you agree with Trump on almost everything?
Almost everything, yes.
It's Schumer's summer of scare tactics that he has moved into the fall of fear-mongering. I think it's despicable because he is stoking fear that should not exist and, unfortunately, playing politics, and the American people lose when Chuck Schumer's in charge.
It's absolutely garbage. Making up stuff like Schumer's summer of scare or fall fear-mongering. We have no time for that when our country finds itself in one of the most dangerous places. Politics and violence, political violence, is at an all-time high because of the candidate she supports and names drop in this interview, Donald Trump.
You know, if you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day with the drugstores as an example, but they have to be taught. Now, if you had one really violent day, like a guy like Mike Kelly, put him in charge, Congressman Kelly, put him in charge for one day. Mike, would you say, he's right here, it's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately.
He himself has already had 2 attempts on his life by people that are registered or have voted for Republicans in the past. And it's because of this BS. They go on TV and they say crazy stuff like, IVF is not a threat. People are not really dying from this current climate as it pertains to women's right to choose what happens to their body. When we know there are people that have died because doctors been afraid to protect them, to do their job. This is true. This is not hyperbole. It happened in Georgia in real life. So when you hear this Senator Katie Britt on TV talking about Democrats have not put forth, Chuck Schumer has not put forth a funding bill, a farming bill, and a National Defense Act, it's all ridiculous, especially when you consider the fact that in May of this year, Debbie Stabenow, the chairwoman, the chairperson for the Agriculture Committee, actually put forth a rural farming bill. Rural Prosperity and Food Security or Safety Act is what it was named. And that act was amazing in what it sought out to do. Bringing equity to farming, making sure that we protect it, conserve habitats, protect the climate, the only climate we have, provide better securities in local food markets, shore up insurities for commodities and crops. All of this was part of that bill. What happened to that bill? Well, it went to the House controlled by Republicans. And in the markup, what did they do? put red pills in there that were sure to kill it and divide the bipartisan support that was necessary to pass a farm bill. In real life, that happened in May. But don't stop there. She said something about the National Defense Act, which is absolutely ridiculous to me, because unless Katie Britt was asleep and trying to work on her scare tactic as it pertains to that creepy smile of hers, then she would know that in December of 2023, both houses of Congress signed and passed a National Defense Act, December of 2023. And she talked about funding. I'm confused. It was a woman Republican who was the lead negotiator on the funding bills. Yes, I said bills that actually passed in this year. 6 bills passed. 6. Susie Collins was the lead negotiator, a Republican. And it funded everything that she said didn't get funded. Agriculture was funded, yeah, in the funding bill. Appropriation package, look it up. That's right, rural development was also funded. FDA was funded. All of this, not just FDA, all of the related agencies were funded by this appropriation package. Commerce, justice, can I go on? Should I go on? Science and all related departments. Energy, water, should I go on? Interior, Department of Interior, the environment, and all the related agencies were funded by this bill, by the appropriation package. Yeah, this year, both houses passed this in Congress where she works. Military, construction, veteran affairs, and all related agencies also funded by the appropriation package. And don't forget HUD and all related agencies. These people are not serious. You can Google this right now and find everything I just said out. You don't have to be a political junkie to know that the Republicans are ridiculous, liars, telling not half-truths but untruths about what's going on, stirring up fear and doing their own scare tactics and naming it and couching it in Jesus and Christianity and morality, when in actuality, all it is xenophobic hatred, unpatriotic behavior. And to know that these people are getting paychecks from taxpayers who are suffering because of their inactions and their inability to be serious. Mondale Robinson, get over Republicans, because I am.